Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I swap transfer cases in my Jeep. Before I get started, if you liked the video, please go down, drop a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not already. This helps me grow the channel and have ideas to make new videos and the ability to do that. So please go down and subscribe. In today's video, we're going to talk about how I swapped my Jeep transfer case. This is a 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee with Quadra drive. And that Jeep originally comes with the MV247 transfer case, which is an all-time four-wheel drive transfer case. I wanted to switch this out because I didn't want to be driving on the road in all-time four-wheel drive all the time. It's not good for your gas mileage, and I just wanted to be able to have two-wheel drive and a stronger transfer case. So what I did is I went to my local junkyard and I looked for a 242 heavy duty transfer case. Now you could find some Jeep WJs with the 242 HD transfer case, but it's really hard. And I did not find any in my junkyard. So what I did is I went and looked for a Dodge Durango from like the 90s to 2005 generation. And I found this 242D, which is the exact same model as an HD transfer case. I went and pulled this transfer case out of the Durango, and I also took the drive shafts with it. Now the drive shafts weren't the same length, but I grabbed these drive shafts, took them to a drive shaft shop, and had them make them the right length. And this is the Dana 44 aluminum HD heavy duty axle in this Jeep. And all I need to do is switch out the yoke, and it bolted right up to this Durango drive shaft. And I also took out the front drive shaft when I did this here, and all I needed is I went in the junkyard while I was there and I grabbed the regular yoke off of a Dana 30 Jeep, and it was a Jeep Cherokee, I believe. I pulled it off the front, Dana 30, and then this one was cut the length, and that bolted right up. And then that's also solved that bushing issue that the Jeep WJ has right here, where the bushing wears out because of the drive shaft angle, because this Jeep has a 4-inch lift kit on it. So what I did at the junkyard is I grabbed the transfer case, the drive shafts, and the other thing that you're going to want to grab when you're there, since the four-wheel drive pattern is mixed up, I'm going to get in the Jeep here and show you, is the shifter assembly. Now the 247 has three different options. It has four-wheel all-time, neutral, and then four. The all-wheel drive, neutral, and then four low. That's what it has, three. And then what this one has is it has two-wheel drive, four-wheel part-time, four-wheel full-time, and that just depends on if you're driving it on the road, and it's kind of like automatic or auto. And then four-wheel full-time high, and then it's got four low. And I've put this transfer case to the test, and it's held out really well. The reason why it switched is because it has a wider chain in it, so it's a lot stronger. And when you're at the junkyard, is you don't have to find, you just want to find a Jeep WJ that has a 242 transfer case. It doesn't have to be a heavy duty. You just want one that has these options because it matches up with the transfer case in the Durango. So I grabbed the shifter assembly out of another Jeep, brought this, and it's just two bolts in the front here, two bolts behind the cup holder. And while I'm looking at the cup holder, I do have a video of how I made this cup holder if you're interested in it. And then the screws in the bottom of this holder here. And another thing I want to point out before I end this video about the transfer case is, I'm going to get back under the Jeep here, is you can take my Jeep and most of the Jeeps, there's a plug. I'm trying to find it again, but there's a plug that's plugged into like a dummy plug, because it's not an electronic. There's lights in your dash and it tells you what gear you're in the transfer case when you change it. And the plug is right up there in the middle of the screen. And that plug is plugged into somewhere. If you follow the wire in the Jeep, it's plugged into a dummy plug up in the Jeep. Now, if you get this transfer case, you can actually plug that plug into the transfer case, and on your dash, it'll light up and tell you what gear you're in. So you're gonna wanna, if you get this transfer case, is follow that plug. It's definitely in the wiring harness because they put it in all of them, because the transfer cases are just different. So you wanna grab that plug and plug it in. And then the only other thing I had to do with this is the bushing. Now this is a metal bushing. I'm gonna leave a link in the bio for just the regular bushing. So I can't seem to find it, but a regular Jeep bushing will work just fine. When you do this, the bushing's kind of corroded. If you do somehow get it off and get it back on, it's probably a good idea to replace it because it's like a $5 part or something like that, between $5 and $10. And you're gonna wanna get a new one because you don't want this breaking when you're on the trail off-roading or you're in a sticky situation in the snow or something. You don't want that linkage to come off because that's what's shifting between your gears in the transfer case. So go ahead and get a new one when you do this. It'll be worth your time. So what I did when I got all my parts together is I drained the fluid in the transfer case. There's a plug right there, drain the fluid. And then all your bolts are up around to the transmission. I had to cut a wrench in half to get to the very top because the top is kind of hard to get to. There's not much room to work with here. But I cut a wrench in half to get it in there. And this transfer case bolted right up to the transmission, so you don't have to worry about that. I just used the car jack, lifted it up, bolted it on, and then hooked up the dry shafts, plugged it in, hooked up the linkage. And that was pretty much ready to go. So if you're looking to do a fairly cheap and easy swap, go to your local junkyard and try and find these parts, and it'll be well worth it. I know a lot of people, talking to Jeep WJ owners, they complain about the transfer case breaking as the first thing, and then also the dry shaft angle. Well, if you go ahead and do this, it pretty much fixes all the problems and makes it a pretty sound and pretty reliable off-road rig. So if you like the video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and leave this video a like. And also go check out the Instagram page where I post updates and other things, small things that I do with the Jeep, so you can follow along. Thanks for watching.